Welcome guys to another episode of Pawn Man. I'm Evan Kale. I work in the gold and silver business. If you've never seen this show, it's a reality show about my job. It's an educational program. It's an entertaining program. I bring my camera along to work. I make deals. I educate you about how this business works. I teach you some facts and I show you some cool stuff along the way. It's a Saturday afternoon. I have no idea what's gonna walk into the shop. It could be anything. So strap in and prepare yourself for another episode of Pawn Man. Yeah, you're gonna get all kinds of boomers like, hey, can you make sure to take special care of me? Like, everyone gets the same treatment. You automatically get a tracking number.
So funny.
You're not special.
Oh, my Crosby.
Hello.
Hi.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I'm gonna sell some silver.
Okay, I'm gonna buzz you in. Have a seat at the front desk.
All right.
Some silver here. Yeah, I'll pay 24. You're gonna 12 ounces.
What's the buy right now?
I'm buying at 24.
I mean, what's the buy if I buy a 20?
27, 60, 85, 1, 2, 288.
Got it.
So that does annoy me, what he did, where he's selling it to me and then he says, how much are you charging? Trying to figure out how much money I'm gonna make. It's like, it's none of your business how much money I'm gonna make. I'm gonna make money on it. I'm running a business. Don't ask me how much. That's kind of a rude question. And I've had people, when they do find out how much I'm charging, then they want more. It's like, no, like that's not the way it works. Frankly, I paid him a good price. If he would have asked for more, I would have been kind of pissy. There's kind of a lot going on here right now. I got somebody standing at the window because we're only allowing one person at a time. So there's a giant silver deal going on. We're gonna check this out for the person standing outside. It said that it's 14 karat. Doesn't look like it. Alright, so let's take a little mark. 14. I'll be damned. Huh. 10.4 grams, but it's got these bells in them that I don't think are gold, so we'll call it 9. That's what it melts at. Alright, well, looks like it's gold. I just don't see gold in this form very often. Okay, I'd be a buyer of this at 200. Okay. No. Just said nope. Marked out. You could have countered. Shit, I would have come up. Sweet. All right, well, I just sold a $250 mystery box. I've been, like I said, I've been selling a lot of stuff off TikTok. Well, somebody messaged me and they said, how about I send you $95 and you send me a surprise box? And I did. And the person really liked the box I sent them. So I started selling mystery boxes the other day. 3 different tiers, $65, $100, or $200. Shit, I sold almost $2,000 worth of them in a day. I was like, ooh. This is a good idea. The only drawback with these is they actually do take me kind of a lot of time to put together. But all right, let's go through and pick out $250 worth of random crap. So on the ground, we have all these red books. This is the Coin Bible. This one's from 1967. It is a collector's item. So I found this in the basement. I found a lot of these in the basement, as you saw in one of my insert shots. And I've sold some of them, but this one's in it's like missing a couple pages. It's not the kind of condition where I could sell it, but this is a perfect item. So I'm gonna put this in the mystery box. Half of the box is right here. I'm gonna do just a handful of random world currency. I'll include one of these silver eagles. I'll do an 03, 30 bucks right there. Some random notes I bought this morning for just a few bucks. Actually, this one's pretty cool. I'm gonna keep this for myself. He was born in 1960, and I don't have any 1960 mint sets because they're actually kind of expensive, but I did find a Franklin $50. So here's what I'm sending him for 250 bucks. An old red book, the Susan B. Anthony special deal boomer shit. 5 ounces of silver, 1960 Franklin, it's BU, a 64 silver dime, a 1907 Liberty nickel, an 1874 Indian head, 1943 silver wartime nickel, a 1967 Canadian silver dime, a clad 1991 BU S Mint Kennedy, a Liberty commemorative, 2.7 ounces of world silver, this World Trade Center medal, this bag of world currency, a BU 2003 Silver Eagle in plastic, this Man on the Moon commemorative, a couple of random old currency notes, and a silver certificate. I'm probably making about 50 bucks off of this, maybe. But these mystery boxes, I mean, like I said, I sold a ton of them, and it's such a great revenue idea. So if you guys want to buy one, let me know. Calvia?
I got a necklace I want to check if it's real.
Sure thing. Let me buzz you in. Give me 1 sec. So let's check for a stamp. What does it say? 14? 18. Okay. Mark. Eating away. This is not real. I make a mark on a granite block. If the mark doesn't hold, then it's not good. Most 18 karat stuff I see like that, like I could just tell it was like the caliber of stuff I see it's fake. So I have a lot to do today because ordinarily I just hired somebody to help me with eBay, but she's not here today, and that means I have to do eBay, and I have a ton of TikTok sales I have to get through because my TikTok's just been getting more and more popular. Like at the rate this is going, I'm gonna have to hire another person to help me. I got an offer on this Morgan silver dollar. It's a 1900S. All the S mint Morgans, the San Francisco mints, they're generally more expensive, and the later date ones in like the 1900s are really expensive. So even though this one's an AU, I'm trying to get $110 on it. And I bought it for 25, but they offered me 75. That's just too low. I countered at 96. All right, we got 6 items going out on eBay. I'll be damned, I sold the 1980 proof set. I never sell 1980 proof sets. These probably. We've talked about these proof sets before. They are total boomer shit. This is just a small fraction of what I have. I have so fucking many. I have about 40 of these in 1980. I have every year, basically from 1966 all the way through present. Some of my more modern ones I don't have. I think the most recent year I have is 2016. But I keep buying these, and I'm accumulating them, and it's great to have a catalog because I have so many of them now, but I never sell them. However, it does put me in a good position when people bring them in. I can say, well, look, I have so many, I'll give you $2 on, I'll give you $3 on it, and I can sell it for, I got $11 on this. I've been sitting on it probably for about a year, but as my popularity increases, as my store gets bigger, the eyes on it grow, and the potential for me to sell this stuff grows too. Shit, I'd be okay having a warehouse full of it. I just wish I was selling more of them. 67p right here. A woman came in about a month ago and I was super busy and she had a printed out sheet, and I usually don't buy this stuff because this isn't a modern penny, but Lincoln Memorial pennies from 1959 to 2008 are, shall we say, overly produced and very common and just frankly not that valuable. They're too new. If the penny gets discontinued, like I think it will be eventually, probably pretty soon, then pennies will go up in value, but stuff like this, not really. However, these are all brilliant uncirculated, and I paid $1 a tube for them because I knew I could sell them for $4, $5, $6. It might take me a couple years to sell all of these, but god damn it, I will sell them all, and I'm gonna make probably 5-fold my money. So yeah, I paid her $1 a tube. She's got like 2,500 tubes, so I paid her $2,500, and I'm probably gonna get somewhere in the neighborhood of like 15,000 for all of these when all is said and done. All right, 1,000 wheat pennies. All right, here's what's going on eBay. I got a 1967 PBU penny tube, 2 1976 DBU penny tubes, a stupid boomer shit that I bought for $1 and sold for 10, 1,000 wheat pennies, and a 1980 proof set. And there's a token from 1840 that I can't find, and I'm gonna look for it later when I have more time, because this is just half of the shit I gotta package up and ship out. Okay, so let's see, I have one $65 mystery box, 4 ounces of silver, which I packaged last night. These are going out. Really quick, we're going through money from the register, and we've got all these $1 bills laid out here. And interesting fact you probably didn't know about money, these letters here symbolize where a note comes from, what reserve. So like A is Boston, B is New York, Philadelphia, Cleveland, Richmond, Atlanta, Chicago, St. Louis, Minneapolis, Kansas City, Dallas with a K. Missouri is the only state to have 2 different reserves, one in Kansas City and one in St. Louis.
I get this as a Christmas gift several years ago.
Okay. Yep. This is plated.
Okay, so that's not good.
Yeah, no, I'll still buy it. This looks plated.
That's related to.
Yeah, so these are plated. We buy them at $1 a pound, so it's very inexpensive.
Okay.
But I can buy it from you if you want to get rid of it.
I'm here.
All right, let me throw it on the scale. 1, 2, $3.
Okay.
Better than nothing. You can't even give that stuff away. The Goodwill won't take it. Have a good day, sir.
Polluted my phone. I get all these bells and jingles going
I can
off.
turn it off if you want. All right, well, hopefully this takes care of my walk-in problem because I'm so fed up with it. I'm sorry, what did you say you think my microphone looks like?
Big dildo.
A big dildo. Okay, very classy.
Haven't you ever seen those things?
Believe me, I've seen them.
Okay.
All right, so we are gonna do the informative part of the episode now, and for this informative spiel, we're gonna go a little bit off script from what we usually do. So yesterday, I had a woman that came in here And she had a coin collection in a box. And I like to, when I look at a coin collection, I like to just blanket have a number in my head. Basically, I like to play Price is Right in my head, and it's like kind of a training exercise. So I'm looking at this box, and I noticed there was this envelope, and we got to the envelope last, and I kept reaching for the envelope. She definitely wanted us to get to the envelope last. And she said, okay, now this part is a bit disgusting, and I'm a little embarrassed to be showing this to you, but I don't know what to do with it, and I don't know how to go about selling it. I thought maybe this was a good place to start. I'm like, okay, well, let me see what it is. She opens it up, and she's got this Nazi officer's patch, and she also had this. Now, this is the expensive item. So we talked, and I made a joke about how I'm a Jew buying Nazi stuff, and she thought that was funny. And I said, I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I don't usually sell this kind of stuff. We talked about maybe donating it to a museum. So I said, look, I don't know what it's worth. I can give you 30 bucks, take it off your hands. She said, fine. Now, again, I didn't know what it was worth. I looked it up later. This one, I couldn't find any kind of a value. I mean, if I did some serious research, I could probably find what this officer ranking was. I would guess like a lieutenant or something. I don't know. This, holy shit. This is known as the Mother's Cross. They issued 3 different tiers of these to mothers of the Reich who had babies for the Reich. The bronze one went to mothers who had 4 or more babies for the Reich. The silver one, this one here, went to mothers who bore 6 or more children. And the gold one went to women who bore 8 or more children. So this being the silver one from 1938. I don't know what this one's worth, but this one's worth about $250. So, kind of got some big dollar signs in my eyes. Kind of like how the Swiss did with the Nazis when, never mind. So I put it on eBay, because come on, this is huge profit here. And I know I told the lady I wasn't gonna sell it, but what am I supposed to do? I'm running a business. I've said this before. You can make so many Nazi comparisons to what I'm saying too. We put it on eBay, and it got a ton of watchers on eBay right away. We were asking $400 for this one and $300 for this one. But then eBay took it down because you're not allowed to sell Nazi shit on eBay, rightfully so. I made a TikTok about it on my Pawnman account, and the TikTok, it's one of my most successful TikToks that I've made. But I had a lot of interest, and I did find a buyer. So I sold these for $200, and I'm happy to just get money, get in, get out, get rid of them, and quickly use this as a talking point because there's some really interesting stuff behind this. Now, I'm sorry if you're very offended by Nazi things and you don't want me to talk about it at all, but it is history, and frankly, I think extremely interesting history. God damn it, what do you want? So let's talk a little bit about the Nazis because they are a subject of great intrigue, and I have my novel, Wolf in the Jungle, which if you guys haven't read it, go check it out. It's about Nazi hunters, and I had to do a ridiculous amount of research. Let's put it this way, I've read enough Nazi books where I'm probably on a couple watch lists. So in doing research for these books, because it's a book series, I have acquired a lot of Nazi knowledge, and I want to talk a little bit about some things Nazi. So number one, why were the Nazis giving out trophies to women who were having babies for them? Or I should say excessive amounts of babies. Well, Hitler had this idea when he came to power called Lebensraum. The idea was the German people deserve Europe. They don't just deserve Europe, they deserve the world. They're of a higher tier of human being than anyone else, the German people, and it is their destiny to rule the world. Now this ties into, Hitler didn't necessarily believe all of these things, but the Nazis were way in bed with the occult to the point where it kind of cost them the war. So one of the things that they were doing was they were having lots of babies. They were way into things like phrenology, other kinds of race sciences, which exactly as it sounds, is just fucking nonsense pseudoscience. But they were trying to make as many perfect Aryan specimens as they could. Now, Aryanism, I won't get too much into this. It's basically a made-up idea. It's this idea that the German people come from these Nordic gods, these Atlanteans that used to rule the world. I'm serious, they believed in Atlanteans. They believed in Atlantis. A lot of high-ups in the Nazi party believed in this thing called world ice theory, which suggested that at one point in time, 10,000 years ago, there were 2 moons, and they collided into each other, and one of the moons bounced into the earth because, the earth would survive if that happened. And that's what caused the Great Flood in the Bible. And 10,000 years ago, the Atlanteans ruled the world. They were a highly advanced white Aryan civilization, and the Great Flood wiped them out, but there's still trace evidence of them. So in 1935, Heinrich Himmler, the Gestapo SS chief, what was his official title? Reichsführer of the SS. He founded this thing called the Annenerbe. The Annenerbe was a top secret think tank devoted to proving that the Nazis came from the Atlanteans. So what they believed was if they could find a link between the German people and the Atlanteans, they could prove that they were descendant from the Atlanteans, the Aryans. They could prove that they were above everyone else, that race science existed. And so they spent, again, the equivalent of billions of dollars running around the world, treasure hunting, looking for lost, fabled artifacts. They went to India. There were actually Indian legions that were involved in World War II fighting for the Nazis, because some in the Nazi party believed that the Indian people had a common ancestor with the Aryans, with the Atlanteans. They weren't the same tier. The white ones were still better than the brown ones. The Nazis tapped into the Indian legions and tapped into India, and they spent a lot of time examining, looking for things like the Yeti, the abominable snowman. I'm not kidding. It might sound like I'm pulling this out of my ass. I'm totally serious. They looked for the Holy Grail. They went all over the world on these expeditions. This right here represents that idea that we have to make these perfect Aryan babies, and it's our destiny to populate the world with Aryanism and to wipe everyone else out. And that's what this medal represents. And that, to me, I think, despite being extremely grim and morbid, is also very fascinating. Some other blunders the Nazis did. Number one, it wasn't just that they were treasure hunting and it was insanely expensive, and the NRB was just like, it was a think tank, quote unquote, is basically just a device to drain the Reich treasury. It's why you'll find most Nazi coins during the war, like 39 to 45, they're mostly made from aluminum, and it's because the Nazis didn't have the resources to make silver coins because they were putting it into other shit. Some of their biggest blunders include ridiculous weapons that didn't work. They sunk, instead of pursuing the Manhattan Project or instead of pursuing the atomic bomb, they did to an extent, but instead of focusing all of their efforts on that, they were diversifying their efforts with all these different ridiculous weapons. They were trying to make death rays and weather guns and earthquake guns. They were trying, I mean, some of their ideas were pretty interesting. You know, they made the V2 rocket. They were trying to make a rocket that they could shoot from Germany that could hit New York. But these failed weapons, you know, the death ray in particular, it cost them so much money. And, you know, as they're wasting money and shit that doesn't work, the Allies were not. Operation Barbarossa was largely conceived because they consulted with oracles, and the oracles said, well, yeah, it's our destiny. Of course, you know. Basically, it's like, I'm gonna pay you to hear good news, tell me good news. It's like going to see a fortune teller now. It's no different. So between the weird weapons, the occultism, the fanatical idea of trying to prove Aryanism, things like this, where they're giving out fucking medals for babies, they lost the war. And again, I am skimming the surface of the stuff. If you guys want to know more about this, I can't recommend this book enough. It does read like a college thesis. I've read it twice. It's a fabulous book. And also, go get my book, Wolf in the Jungle. The sequel will be out very soon. Well, since it's pretty slow, let's go over 2 items I acquired recently. This is what's known as a Whitman album by the Whitman Publishing Company. It's one of the most common coin albums I run into, or like this type, with this blue cover, made it from cardboard. Really, it's bad to put coins in holders like these. It's just hard on the coin. It's not the best way to store it. Whenever I come across coins in these albums, I mean, even when they're key dates, the problem is because they've been put in here, they've basically been damaged. But there's some money in these. I occasionally find very rare coins, and there's a few in here. These up here are Flying Eagle type cents. They were made from 1856 to 1858. Really, the 1856 are proof patterns. They're very rare. They're very expensive. These ones are less expensive. There's about $100 what you see here. I personally really like these coins. We'll talk about them more in detail later. But mostly though, this is an Indian head cent collection. The Indian head cent came before the Lincoln wheat cent, which has the wheat back on it. And then the wheat cent was made from 1909 to 1958, and afterwards was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial cent, which has the Lincoln Memorial on it. So the Indian head cents, the early dates are gonna be the best dates, and the 1909. Unfortunately, I'm missing an 09S, the last year of issue is a key date as well. Generally speaking though, the earlier you get with the Indian head cents, the closer to the first year of issue, the better. I mean, they did make a lot of them. What's nice about these albums is they do sometimes tell you the mintage, which is helpful. I paid $130 for this set. It's worth about $350. So I'm gonna list this on eBay. And the other thing I wanna talk about is this, which, believe it or not, is money. This is a Swedish $4, D-A-L-E-R, and it's made from copper. So these dollars, or platt money, as they were known, are because Sweden, the nation of Sweden, did not have a huge amount of silver reserves. It made more sense for them to put $4 worth of copper, because they had plenty of copper reserves, into a big plate like this. It was for like banking purposes. So this was worth about $4 worth of copper, and they'd stamp it, and they would use this in substitute for silver dollars. Now this one has a very, very interesting story. This one comes from the Dutch East Indian Company, from the ship the Nicobar, and it was a doomed ship. It left port in 1782, and the cargo consisted of many items for trade in the Far East, including 3,000 of these platt money pieces. The biggest size these came in was a 10 daler, and it weighed over 43 pounds. And so it had, the nickel bar had 4 tons of this plat money in its hulls, but it was, like I said, it was a doomed ship. By the time it reached Africa, it was 10 months behind schedule. It had survived rough seas, a breakout of scurvy, and a mutiny of several of the crew. And right as the ship rounded the Cape of South Africa, a severe storm developed, and the ship sailed too close to shore. It struck a reef and it broke up. All the cargo went down, all 24 of the crew died, and over 200 years later, in 1987, the wreck was discovered by 2 fishermen. So this is worth about $2,000 because it's such a rare artifact. It comes with a fancy certificate, and it also comes with this script that I just read from. But the problem is, this is such a weird collector item. It's so expensive. I'm probably gonna be sitting on this for a while because this is something that, like, oh, you gotta have disposable income to wanna buy something like this for $2,000. And like, I couldn't sell it for less. It's just too expensive, but it's just such a queer, unusual item. I fully expect to be sitting on this for a long time. But it's a lovely conversation piece.
And a weighty one.
And a weighty one. Oh, you're on it today with the jokes. Full confession, I love puns. You can pawn them off on me all day. I'll show myself out. To the post office. Now I gotta send everyone tracking info. 95001267. Come on, fucking go! You have so much space. Who the fuck taught you to drive, Helen Keller? If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Be sure you hit the notification button to find out when new episodes of Pawn Man are coming out. Subscribe to me here. Follow me at Evan Kale and at Pawn Man on Instagram and TikTok. Get my books, get my Pawn Man merchandise, help support me. Just please help me grow this show. I so desperately want to hire an editor, and I can't do that right now. The show isn't big enough yet. Any questions, put them in the comments section below, and I will see you guys back here for another episode of Pawn Man. Take it easy, guys.